Is Corsair stock being manipulated? Who is Eagletree Capital? Now, you're probably asking yourself, Colin, why do you keep on making videos about Corsair? Well, one, it's fun, and two, I thought this was an interesting topic to talk about. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about a major institutional owner in Corsair stock known as Eagletree Capital and how it may be playing effect on the stock price. If you're not familiar with Corsair, it's a gaming company that sells everything from gaming gear, peripherals, as well as even PC components. But despite the growth that the company has seen in 2020 as well as the beginning of 2021, the stock price has not cooperated and it's slowly downtrended year to date. As an investor in Corsair stock, around 2% of my portfolio, the question is, where's all the selling pressure coming from? And one answer is Eagletree Capital. So the next question is, who is Eagletree Capital and why are they selling shares? Eagletree Capital is a private equity fund that was formed in 2015. So the company essentially buys private companies in order to make money from those investments. And one of those investments, well, it's in Corsair Gaming. And it was initially done back in August of 2017. And usually the reason that private equity gets involved is because they see the growth potential in a company. So with Corsair, they saw that potential, but they realized that maybe the company needed more capital in order to expand faster than they would have without teaming up with their company. Also, if you've ever looked at the balance sheet of Corsair and wondered to yourself, why do they have so much debt? Well, part of that is because with a private equity company, a lot of times they leverage up the company with debt in order to get a higher return on their cash investment. So that's exactly what happened with Eagletree. And now that they're public, they're paying it down. But before, that was to fuel that growth. And the firm bought a majority share in Corsair that was valued around $525 million. And we have to remember Corsair Gaming IPO'd back in September of last year at around $14. How many shares did Eagletree Capital actually own? The answer? A shit ton. According to their S1 filing when they IPO'd, it was around 92% of their common shares was owned by Eagletree. So has Eagletree Capital been selling shares? Yes. According to a 13G form, they currently own around 56.9 million shares as of June 7th. So that brings their ownership percent, unless they're selling more shares since then, to around 62%. Which means if Eagletree Capital is selling a ton of those shares, it can put downward pressure on the stock price. Also, as a funny side note, look at these Google reviews, all ones, and there's 4 reviews. And I can guarantee you these are all salty Corsair stock owners. I don't know if this gives it away, but Corsair to the moon. And I don't really blame them because they're sitting on huge unrealized gains as they bought in 2017 with a transaction valued at $525 million. And now the company's traded anywhere from $4 billion down to right now around $2.5 billion. And unfortunately, we have no idea what percentage the company is trying to get down to, whether that's 50% or 10%. We really don't know. It's all speculation. But the good thing is as that percentage comes down and those shares get distributed to either institutional investors or retail investors, those shareholders are less likely to probably sell because they're not sitting on massive gains, whereas the cost basis for Eagletree Capital is extremely low. So if they want to realize some of those gains and diversify their investments into other companies, they may do that. As for the total breakdown of by insiders and institutions, we can use Yahoo Finance to see that around 70% is institutions, so a majority of this is Eagletree. 3.78% is insiders, and a lot of this is Andy Paul, the CEO and founder of the company, and the rest would be retail investors, aka probably Wall Street Bets owns the rest of the company. Here are my thoughts on all of this. Well, it may be some short-term pressure to the downside. For the long term, it's probably good that you have this company offloading the shares because they're not hoarding it and they're not able to affect the price later down the road as they shrink that percentage. Also, for those people calling out a conspiracy theory, theories like Eagletree completely manipulates the price, meaning they have complete control over the price action. So if the stock runs up, they can sell deep out of the money calls, collect that premium and cause a crash. And then they can sell puts at the same time and cause rallies. In a sense, people think that Eagletree completely owns the price action of the stock and can manipulate it whatever direction they want. Then you have people spreading rumors about Eagletree having to sell their shares or getting to a specific percentage like 10%. But really, that's all speculation. No one actually knows what's going on with Eagletree and how much they're actually going to sell, or they could just just completely stop. I think it's really just Eagletree is trying to realize those gains, so there may be selling blocks that happen over a scheduled period of time. We may see shorts kind of taking advantage of that fact because the short percentage of the company is also relatively high. And I would say the shorts need to be a little careful, because if that selling pressure from Eagletree all of a sudden goes away and you're left with a company that's fundamentally strong and the valuation is undervalued, well, that's kind of a formula for a possible short squeeze, something like we saw back in June, but there isn't selling pressure from Eagletree Capital to bring it back down. One thing I'll definitely look at going forward is the current shares that Eagletree owns. Whether the percentage in change goes down, meaning that maybe the selling pressure is going to go away, or just to have an idea of how many shares are even possible to be sold by Eagletree. There's only 57 million more to go. Overall, the whole situation is pretty interesting. If you guys did learn something in this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Main Street Wolf, where we talk investing, stocks, complaining about Corsair not going up, and anything to do with money. Thanks guys for watching, and have a great day.